the Roland Mathias Poetry Award. Love Songs of Carbon, Philip Gross, Blood Axe.
I am those clothes, left on the beach, folded fastidiously, the name inside absconded. They ran tests, but I told them nothing. For a couple of weeks, I was news. People phoned in with their sightings and confessions. False to a man. Believe me, in the end. I stood up, brushed sand from my creases and walked and went on walking, wondering who I could take it to, this new and salty lightness at the core.
Boy Running, Paul Henry, Seren.
7:25. As good a time as any to fall out of love. I haven't wound this clock for days. Your silence silenced its chimes. Dead clock. Dead as the old man's heart in that song. Either I wind it now and believe there is time beyond 7:25. Believe that cogs and springs will dance again. Or I post you this key.
Pattern Beyond Chance, Stephen Payne, Happenstance.
Journey home. On every long journey home, there's such a place. It can be just a roundabout or a slip road. Perhaps a farmhouse gable, a stand of trees. Always the same small shift as it's past. The journey in some way over before its end. In company, the conversation changes pace. Alone, the mind gives itself away, clicking into calm, or else unease.
The Rhys Davies Trust Fiction Award. We Don't Know What We're Doing, Thomas Morris, Faber.
Jimmy Hughes asked Mrs. Morgan out every week for 3 months before she finally gave in and said he could accompany her to the Big Cheese Festival on Saturday. But that it wasn't a date, and that she had to be back by 5 because she was babysitting her great-granddaughter. That evening, he boasted about the date to the guys at the Cons Club. And at last orders, Stan the Bread planted a box of Durex on Jimmy's table and said in very serious tones, "In case you get lucky, Jimbo, you can never be too careful." Pocketing the condoms, Jimmy said, "Well, I hope these buggers come with instructions."
The Girl in the Red Coat, Kate Hamer, Faber.
I dream about Carmel often. In my dreams, she's always walking backwards. As she grew up, I nicknamed her my little hedge child. I couldn't imagine her living anywhere but the countryside. Her thick curly hair stood out like a spray of breaking glass or a dandelion head. "You look like you've been dragged through a hedge backwards," I'd say to her, and she would smile. "I can imagine that," she'd say finally, licking her lips.
I Saw a Man, Owen Shears, Faber.
Standing in the kitchen, Michael listened once more. He'd never known Josh and Samantha to leave their house unlocked and not be home. He knew Samantha was away with her sister Martha for the weekend. But Josh and the girls, he'd thought, had stayed. The house, though, was silent. Such was the stillness of the house that from where he stood in the kitchen, these sounds already had the texture of memory. As if he'd crossed a threshold in time, not of a home.
The Open University in Wales Creative Non-Fiction Award. Losing Israel, Jasmine Donaghy, Seren.
The Welsh philosopher J.R. Jones described hauntingly the experience of knowing not that you are leaving your country, but that your country is leaving you. My country, Israel, is leaving me too, but not into the hands and possession of another country and another civilization, as is the predicament of Palestine. My country is leaving me because its story is ceasing to exist, and because of what it has strangled out of existence. I grieve the loss. I grieve its departure from me, but it's a grief coloured darkly by shame.
Wales Unchained. Literature, Politics and Identity in the American Century. Daniel G. Williams, University of Wales Press.
Of course, the way culture is interpreted varies from nation to nation. Some nations define their culture in racial terms, some linguistic, some religious. Others do not. These variations are crucial to understanding why some nationalisms are peaceful, liberal and democratic, while others are xenophobic, authoritarian and expansionist. So as Wales moves towards a more mature form of political nationhood, we should not jettison our cultural past for a post-national future. We should, rather, aim to pluralise our definition of Welshness and Cymreictod.
Woman Who Brings the Rain. Eluned Grammich, New Welsh Rabite.
Then, a noise that isn't Tateno San's snoring startles us. It grows over our heads like a fly buzzing close to the ear. It's raining, says Kuniko, really heavy by the sound of it. It's got so cold recently, says a neighbour, agreeing. The rain is awful. Just listen to it. The roads will be flooded. Ame on na, says Kuniko, smiling. Rain girl. We never had so much rain before you came. The rain follows you wherever you go. Well, I'm from Wales.